will strike first and brand themselves a cold-blooded killer?
You guys ever notice that the teacher-type character always tend to have a love for drinking? Shisho, Himiko, and now Ushi's mentor. Odd. Welcome back, fellow masters, and today's servant of the day is the free welfare Kiichi Hogen. It's been way too long since our last welfare assassin. Not counting reruns, Gray was our last one, and that was 2 years ago. So what does Kiichi bring to the table? Honestly, a really packed skill set that not only makes 3-turn farming possible for her, but she can serve the role between DPS and semi-support very well. Her stat spread isn't anything that special, with just okay attack and HP and average NP gain. But she does have good star generation with 2 quick cards that deal 3 hits. And with her NP being quick, that does help her star generating abilities as well, especially since it's a multi-hit AoE NP. All of her cards being multi-hit do help with her NP gain. It's a bit odd that she has a double buster deck, but hey, at least it gives her compatibility with Scotty Ruler in the future. Her first skill gives her quick effectiveness up by 20 to 30% depending on level, and a 2-hit evade that lasts for 3 turns. This is actually a great skill to have a double effect on, because the evade duration lasts for 3 turns, rather than just 1 full turn of evasion. So you can still pop it when your NP for her goes off, and you still have use for it. And it's on a 8 to 6 cooldown depending on level. Her second skill is a targetable NP charge by 10 to 20%. And increases the critical star absorb for an ally by 100 to 200%, and is on a 7 to 5 turn cooldown, all depending on level. This is one of, if not her most valuable skill, because it dramatically increases her power as both a DPS and semi-support. Not only is it a decent NP charge, but do you realize how rare targetable star absorb skills are on a servant? With this, you can set up the perfect NP crit chain with your DPS to deal massive damage, be it herself or the one she's supporting. And the support doesn't stop there. Her third skill provides a 10 to 20% attack buff to the entire party, and a 10 to 20% NP gain buff as well to the party that both last for 3 turns. And it's on a 7 to 5 turn cooldown, all depending on level. Now this is her major longevity skill that you are going to want active as much as possible. The attack buff is nice, but that NP gain is definitely where it's the most valuable. 20% NP gain to the entire party is pretty crazy. For reference, that's only 10% lower than Castoria's own NP gain skill. That's pretty impressive on a 4-star assassin. This not only helps Hogen herself, but the entire party, which again really serves that she can be your DPS or semi-support. Her passives increase her star generating, debuff resistance, and her arts card effectiveness, which is nice for helping her in P gain. Her Noble Phantasm is quick and deals 7 hits and is AoE and removes defensive buffs after damage. It's unfortunate that it had to be after damage, because it really could have helped her, but I guess it's the trade-off for getting such a strong servant at NP5. Oh, and it also increases her quick card effectiveness, depending on overcharge. And since she has an attack and quick buff for herself, she can hit pretty hard if that is what you are going for. So now that we got through her entire kit, what is she best at? Can she loop? Can she be a semi-support? A DPS? Well, it may surprise you to know that she can do all of those roles, and do them very effectively at that. With a max limit broken K-scope or plug suit and an extra NP charger and 2 Scotties, you are definitely able to farm 3-turn rider nodes with her. Yes, it's perfectly capable of doing so. However, odds are, if you already have Scotty, that you already also have 3-turn farming setups as well. so it may not bring that much overall value to you, but if you needed a looping quick assassin, you got it. Just don't expect the most consistent results if it's not 3x3 waves of enemies. However, to only look at her looping potential, I think is greatly underestimating her value she will bring to your account. Make no mistake, she's a great DPS and semi-support for your team, especially with helping the NP gain of your allies, along with a targetable crit star absorb. That crit absorbing can be the difference between a mighty crit chain of attacks and just missing. So she can fill a number of roles, so let's go over them. She can fill out the role of a crit star generator thanks to her good crit star generating. She can be the primary DPS, in which case you will want to go all in on buffing her NP as much as possible, or giving her CEs that greatly increase her crit damage. Or she can do both of those roles as a semi-support due to her second and third skill affecting the party as well. Honestly, you can't go wrong with giving her any of these roles, as she is incredibly flexible. Good survivability, high NP damage, NP gain and attack for the team, and a targetable NP charge plus crit star absorb. Most jack-of-all-trades servants usually don't perform their multi-roles that well, to the point that it's better to bring a specialized support. But that second skill gives her so much value to crit teams that it rises her above the usual. So now that we know she can excel at multiple roles, let's go over some teams. For her best support for long battles, I got to mention Osakabe Hime if you give her an NP gain CE, because their kits work in perfect synergy to each other, whether she is a DPS or a semi-support. Osakabe Hime will increase the survivability and quick effectiveness of your team, as well as increasing the crit damage of everyone. Wu is also a good alternative, increasing everybody's quick effectiveness, and like Hime, can purge buffs. Now of course Scotty can go with her if she is the primary DPS, but just know if you are up against Rider bosses, which you most likely are, one crit is all it takes for Scotty to go bye-bye, so be aware of that, as Scotty outside of her NP has zero survivability. The same can be applied to any caster support you choose to bring with her, so be aware of that. Another great support you can bring with her is Van Gogh, as they both help crit star generation and both have a targetable crit star absorb, so they complement each other amazingly well. For DPSs for her to support, well, there's too many to name, but I will say if you want to mash her up with Ushi because of their relationship, they do synergize very well. Just be aware that if you bring Ushi against a caster boss fight, it's going to be hard for Hogen to maintain long survivability. For free-to-play supports, Matahari is actually not a bad choice, as her debuff resistance and good star generating does help complement each other. Cursed Armasan is also a good choice as well, for his high survivability and crit star generating, aiding with Hogen being a DPS. Recommending supports for her is difficult because of one thing. Riders curb stomp casters. And what are the strongest supports right now? Casters. When it comes to command codes and CEs you should give her, I would say that all depends on the role you want to give her. If it's as the primary DPS, give her as much crit damage and NP gain and command codes as you can. If she is a semi-support or support, you are going to want to increase her star generating and give her command codes that either remove enemy buffs or increase the survivability of your team. For CEs, as a DPS, you can either focus on spamming her NP as much as possible, in which case I would go for Traces of Christmas Past, or any CE that gives you any mix of starting NP charge, NP gain, and higher NP damage. Or you can go the crit route with her, in which case I recommend CEs like Hot Springs Under the Moon or Holy Night Supper for a mix of both playstyles. And if you have Limit Broken, A Tale of Love and Hope is also great on her. If she is a pure support or semi-support, give her CEs that increase her star generating, like 2030 or Wolves of Mibu, or any CE that produces crit stars passively. When it comes to which append skill you should pick, you won't get the choice because FGO still doesn't give Welfare Servant coins until much later. To be fair, we did get the append system far earlier than JP did, but still, even then we should still get them, but we don't. But if you somehow manage to get her to Bond 13, then go with the second append skill to help for that NP charge. When it comes to skill priority, for looping you want to focus on all her skills as they will help her looping capabilities, getting them as high as possible. But if you had to pick, I'd go with her third, then second, then first skill. When it comes to being a primary DPS, go with her third, then first, then second skill. And as a semi-support, I would value her third, then second, then first skill. Kiichi Hogen will bring incredible value to your account, as being an assassin that can form multiple roles, such as a farmer, a DPS, and a semi-support, and she's free! I can't stress that part enough. Rider bosses are rare, but when they happen, they can be one of the most nasty encounters in the game, so having a strong DPS or strong assassin support for them is incredibly valuable because caster supports will get curb stomped very fast, until the Buster era with Vitch, but that's in the future. Even outside of that NP gain and star absorb, it's far too valuable. So with all that said, she's a great DPS, semi-support, and looper. If it wasn't for her having 2 Buster cards and better natural NP gain, I would give her a higher score. But I feel comfortable giving her a B+, but for a Welfare Servant, that's incredibly powerful. Don't miss out on this chance to have a strong 4-star assassin that can serve multiple roles. Now make sure to get her because this review came out much later than I intended and I apologize for that. Not to mention, she will attempt to try to keep Ushi smiling and you smiling. She just wants the best for her students. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I just want to thank my Ko-fi supporters on screen you see here. If it wasn't for them, I could not do stuff like this. Maybe consider joining one of my Ko-fi tiers to be a part of this list and help support me. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Turn on that little notification bell so you never miss a beat from me. And I will see you all in the next Servant review. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a fantastic day.